All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, according to multiple reports, the Atlanta Falcons are shopping Pro Bowl wide receiver Julio Jones. Now, Jones is 32 years of age, and he only appeared in 9 games last season due to injury. Now, you look at the Falcons right now, they are a team in limbo. They have a new general manager in Terry Fontenot, along with a new head coach in Arthur Smith. They passed on taking a quarterback early in this draft as they feel like Matt Ryan is still their guy. But with that said, they are now ready to part with his biggest target in this offense. And you cannot underscore Julio Jones's big playmaking ability, because when you're talking about when this guy is healthy and he is on top of his game, he is one of, if not the best wide receivers in the NFL. On 2 separate occasions, we've seen Jones lead the league in receiving yards. And of course, his 2015 campaign was one for the ages, as he had 136 catches for nearly 1,900 yards. And then the following year, which was a year that the Falcons made the Super Bowl, Jones had another big campaign as he had 83 receptions for more than 1,400 yards. And then his big 2018 campaign where he had 113 catches for nearly 1,700 yards. So again, you cannot underscore his big playmaking ability. And if the Falcons are definitely going to part with him, he will be a huge shot in the arm for a contender out there. I just question the timing of this move if you're Atlanta, because you got this new regime in Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith coming in, and you hired them in January. And for me, if you're going to go out there and trade Julio Jones, why not do it before the NFL draft? Because you're going to get some picks back for this guy. So now you're going to trade him now during the spring or possibly the summer. And the picks that you're going to get are going to be for next year. And of course, if he goes to a contender with whatever round that you get those picks in, more than likely those picks are going to be towards the end of that round. Whereas you had a proven commodity in Julio Jones prior to the NFL draft. You trade him because you know what picks and what order you're going to get from a potential team right off the bat. And those picks then have the opportunity to help you for the Falcons be a better team for 2021. So I think right here, this regime is off to the wrong foot. And I mean, what can you say? Because this is the new trend in the NFL where the head coach is hired before the general manager. I'm not a fan of it, and I think it's going to come back and bite the Falcons in the derriere. That's a subject for another day. But you look at the teams that could really benefit from the services of Julio Jones. I look at the Buffalo Bills. This team made the AFC Championship game last season before bowing out to the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw the Bills make big-time strides. And last offseason, we saw them go out there and give up a first-round pick in order to acquire wide receiver Stephon Diggs from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, they have their big-time target in the passing game. I get it. But if you're Buffalo, it's all about finding a way to get past Kansas City. And when the Bills got to that AFC Championship game last year, they didn't have enough offense to get past Kansas City. So why not take your passing game to the next level for quarterback Josh Allen? You already have Stephon Diggs. You already have Cole Beasley in that slot. So why not go out there and make the move to get Julio Jones? Because then who are secondaries going to double if they face the Bills? You look at the Green Bay Packers. To me, Aaron Rodgers is all but out the door. And this could be that last Hail Mary, no pun intended, if you're the Packers front office to try to go out there and keep Aaron Rodgers happy by getting a guy like Julio Jones at wide receiver to team with Devonta Adams. Staying in the NFC North, the Chicago Bears have been very thin at wide receiver in the past couple of seasons. We just saw the Bears trade up with the New York Giants in last month's NFL draft to take their future franchise quarterback in Justin Fields. Now, if you believe that Justin Fields is a future for you in Chicago, you need to put talent around him, especially in the passing game. And why not give him a stud at wide receiver and Julio Jones to work with? The Indianapolis Colts just made a trade this offseason to acquire quarterback Carson Wentz from the Philadelphia Eagles. And obviously you make the trade for Wentz because you believe in his playmaking ability at quarterback. And once again, why not put talent around him? The Dallas Cowboys really don't need Julio Jones as much as other teams that I'm listing do, but we know Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones loves to make a splash, and he likes to go out there and have big-name talent on the marquee. You have quarterback Dak Prescott returning from the injury. You have a young studded wide receiver in C.D. Lamb, and if you're Jerry, you definitely want to go out there and have as much talent on the offensive side as possible. The Kansas City Chiefs would be a situation where the rich would get richer. They did lose Sammy Watkins in free agency to the Baltimore Ravens, and you still have Tyreek Hill. And Kansas City is really taking a lot of time to shore up their offensive line in order to protect quarterback Patrick Mahomes this offseason. So why not, say what the heck, let's give him another target on the outside. And I guarantee you Julio would love to be in Kansas City catching passes from Mahomes. You look at the New England Patriots. We saw the Patriots be unpatriot-like this offseason and going out there and spending a ton of money in free agency. And regardless of who the quarterback is going to be this year, whether it's Cam Newton or whether it's Mac Jones, you cannot have enough talent out there. And of course, if Mac Jones does eventually get the job, it would be the Alabama to connection up there in Foxborough. Of course, old Alabama in Julio Jones and new Alabama in Mac Jones. The Los Angeles Rams, they're always wheeling and dealing. I'm not sure if they have the draft capital that the Falcons would be looking for in this trade, because we've seen the Rams part with so much of that in recent years. But you just went out there and got veteran quarterback Matt Stafford. And for the Rams to get where they want to get, and we know that the Super Bowl right now on the NFC side runs through Tampa, you need to have more talent and more weapons on that offensive side of the ball in order to put some stress on that Tampa D. So if you're LA and you're really serious about it, you definitely want to pick up the phone and contact Terry Fontenot down there in Atlanta and see what it would take to make a deal to get Julio Jones west. And finally, the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers, and let's not forget, 2 years ago, San Francisco was in the Super Bowl. This is a team right here. They have their quarterback of the future in Trey Lance, and they still have their quarterback of the present in Jimmy Garoppolo on this roster. The 49ers have good wide receivers, but they don't have that elite guy. And you need that elite guy in your passing game if you want to take it to the next level. And I think that is something that Julio Jones could and would provide. Who has the best chance of getting Julio Jones? Definitely my money's going to be on an AFC team, because obviously typically teams don't want to have to trade a key player such as Julio Jones within their division and also within their conference, because you're then contending with them for a postseason spot. But stranger things have happened. I think Buffalo's really going to be in the mix. I think Chicago is going to be in the mix. And I think New England is going to be in the mix as well. I think those are my three favorites for where I see Julio Jones landing. Of course, anything else is possible. But one thing we know for sure is that Julio Jones will not be wearing a Falcons uniform come week 1 of the 2021 NFL season. You look at it, once again, very rarely do we have a situation in sports where one player spends his entire career with one team, especially in the NFL, especially at the wide receiver position. Everybody's not going to be Larry Fitzgerald. Everybody, you can't even say Steve Largent, because Steve Largent started off as a member of the Houston Oilers. So it's a situation where very rarely are you going to see a guy spend his entire career with one team, especially at the wide receiver position. Jerry Rice didn't even do it. And, arguably Jerry Rice is the greatest pass catcher in NFL history. It's the business of the game. I think it'd be better served for everybody involved, Julio and the Falcons, to go their separate ways and start afresh. And I guarantee you, whoever gets the services of Julio Jones here for the 2021 NFL season will definitely have a rejuvenated Julio Jones. He'll be ready to go. He'll be ready to prove the doubters wrong. And he'll also be ready to prove the Falcons wrong because this organization is giving up on him subsequently. But I'll say this, it definitely will be exciting to see who's going to make that deal for him. And of course, the more teams that get on the phone with the Falcons as far as making a deal for Julio Jones, of course, that's going to drive his trade value up. So if you're the Falcons and you have an opportunity to come out of this with multiple picks for the 2022 NFL draft, hats off to you. But like I said before, this is a deal that really should have been made prior to this year's NFL draft because those draft picks are not going to help you for the upcoming season. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. The bottom line is this deal is going down soon, and we'll just have to wait and see which uniform that Julio Jones will be wearing in 2021. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you are on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the Sports Discussion Group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.